What up, D, Andrew, Joe, Larry? What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing tonight? John, Coleman, Austin, Daniel, what's up? You guys having a good night? Danny G. All right. We got one more day in week. This is week 3 of 10. So now we got to pick the last 8 excerpts. So for anybody who somehow doesn't know, I've streamed 5 times on Twitch this week, and this is day number 6. Which means I've done all of this work this week, played all these excerpts. So I just got to fill in the rest of the gaps here. And we'll play it at 60% tempo. And then we will close this out. So I've done Christmas Oratorio, Bartok Fugue. I think I have Brahms 2. I think I have Brahms 2 first movement. I have Brahms 2 second. That's first. Fourth movement. We're just going to go in order for the ones I have left. Done that. I've done that. Done Lincoln Portrait. Done Gershwin Piano Concerto. I've done Mahler. I've done that. Ravel Piano Concerto, done that. Death of Tybalt, haven't done that. Let's see. Don Juan, done that. Heldenleben. I don't think I've done the battle scene, and I don't think I've done Big Beautiful Lick. I've definitely not done Parsifal, and then we got to cover the Tomasi. I think that's everything for this week. So like I said, now I'm just filling in the gaps. We just have a little bit left here. It's gonna all be at 60% tempo, which is exciting. We're through the horrible 50% phase. So I'm going to warm up a little bit. I'm going to find the Brahms on here so everybody can get nice and accustomed to what the Brahms is, what excerpt it is. It's it's right there at the top. So we're going to get the top of the page, that part of the movement, and then we're going to get the end of the movement. I got to warm up really fast though. Just a second. All right, so we have the Brahms first. So the previous streams I have done, I've done as much of a subdivision as possible because it was so slow. I wanted to make sure my time was good, but already now I'm going to start taking a little bit of subdivision out of it, so there's more. John Majors, what's up, man? How you doing tonight? So it's just a little bit more time in between the beats. So 134 times 0.6 is 80. And then hopefully this makes sense. It will in just a second. So before I was using quarter or eighth notes here. So it would be D, 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 D. A little bit less wiggle room. This is sort of a cool thing I got from a Victor Wooten video I watched years and years and years ago. Now it's just going to be D, D. Hey, She, how are you doing? Bum, bum. So on this excerpt, it doesn't matter as much, but on other excerpts, there's just a little bit a little bit more wiggle room. So so I have to have a little bit better subdivision within the time. So here we go. First time through. Cool, that felt pretty good. Feels pretty good. So I'm just going to try to repeat it. All the way from Brazil. Isn't that crazy? I'm in Alabama. Murilo. Hopefully I said that correctly. Thank you for joining me. Hope you're having a good night. Let's do that again. Yeah, Robbie, that was taken forever ago. And gosh, that was at the J Clyde, if you know where that is. That feels great. I'm going to do the end of the movement here. Yo, Johnny, man, how you doing, bud? Okinawa, Japan. That's also crazy that you were here last year and now you're in Japan. That's nuts. But yeah, we're going to check the end of this movement. We might just do this once because it's about the same thing. Cody, Jaron Bowman, how's it going? Got to give you your shout out or else you'll get real upset. It's over by Zydeco, if you know it, Robbie. Zydeco or something like that. So anyway, here we go. Bum, bum, bum. We're just going to get these eighth notes with the staccatos and then get this end one time. All right, that actually feels really great. It's been really interesting to do this prep because I feel like when I first started it, things felt okay, but I just, I hadn't spent much time or whatever with the excerpts. And so this is the end of 3 weeks of working on the excerpts. I'm at 60% tempo, but I can already feel that on my face, things are feeling better. And so I'm getting better at playing the excerpts sort of within this slow tempo frame. So I still feel like, basically I'm building confidence right now that I'm going to be able to play these excerpts at the tempo that it's going, or that it should go, which is pretty cool. So the end of this movement is 108. times 0.6, 65. So this is a great example. Before I was going dun 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 dun, right? Dun 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 dun. But now I'm gonna take away that extra beat. So dun 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 dun. So I'm already forced now to start feeling a groove of how the music moves and sort of how that's supposed to feel, rather than just relying 100% on the metronome. As the tempos get faster, I'll widen it even more to maybe having it go dun 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 dun. So the metronome is just checking in with me every once in a while, but ultimately I have to have great time. Here we go. To me, it's pretty interesting as well that when I play these things at 50, 55, 60%, I'm just playing a ton of melodic long tones, which is having, I think, the fundamental effect that playing long tones has, but it's not quite as boring as long tones. And I'm getting some work in having these excerpts sort of get better as well. One more time, but I'm going to start right on the eighth notes. All right, not bad. So far, so good with all of this stuff. Let's move all the way down here to find the death of Tybalt. So as I've said in the past, I don't know if getting older changes it, but certainly as I'm getting older, I have a family now, and I don't know, for anybody who might be watching this afterwards, Johnny just asked if getting older changes my approach to practicing. And like I said, I don't know about getting older in terms of my face. I feel like I'm just as strong as ever, but I'm busier than I've ever been. I don't have hours in I used to be able to have hours just to waste in a practice room. I could play for 3, 4, 5 hours a day, and that's like all I had to do, but I don't have that kind of time anymore. So efficiency of practice is sort of paramount for me. I kind of outlined that in my most recent blog post that I've put out about a practicing template and then sort of tips about that template to be successful. But yeah, I don't have time anymore. And I don't even want to spend that much time in the practice room. I want to be maximally efficient so I can get in, I can get out, and I can get the most out of my practice so I can do other things that matter to me as well. And I don't think I thought that way when I was younger. So that's a relatively new phenomenon or experience for me. So, all right, what's 52 times 0.6? We're at 31 beats per measure. Ding, ding. All right, first time. Is the volume of the trumpet mic okay? I can turn it up a little bit if it needs to be a little bit louder. All right. That excerpt is not very fun, really slow like that. So I'm hoping that when I have to do it for real, it's just no problem at all. Let's do it again. I'm going to stop halfway through, though. Maybe right before the high Cs. Okay. Yeah, Bob. How are you, Bob? I miss you. I miss talking to you, but you're just too busy for me these days. All right, we did all this. We did all this earlier in the week. We got to just find the battle scene. I tried to save Heldenleben because some people asked if I could do Heldenleben last week. So I thought, let's save it. So I'm probably just going to do the battle, the battle scene. I know I keep saying that. What is this? Four after, I guess 7 after 49, all the way to 55. 142. Yo, what's up, Jay? If you're still here, man. Hope your spring break went well. I'm excited to get back and play some Beethoven 5 with you. If there's any questions about my process or what I'm doing here, that's ultimately why I wanted to live stream, was just to have conversations about practice and what are good strategies. And I thought I would do it through the lens of this is what I do. And this is why I do what I do, trying to explain it. But if anybody has any questions or any ways that they do things, that they've experienced success. I hope that this can just be a thing where we can all learn from each other and create sort of a community of doing it. So please just chime in. Don't feel like any question is not a good question or it's a stupid question. None of that. None of that's a thing. Just want to be. I want to be helpful. Want to have a good time. So. I hope so, Bob. I would love to chat with you soon. I got some things to talk about. Life's been good. All right, so let's check this battle scene real fast. Sorry, I had a little brain fart there. Jay, I'm drinking a less good version of a gin and tonic, which would be a vodka tonic. Grant, Adrian, Peter, Edgar, Bindi Bois, Carlo, thanks for joining. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves tonight and you're having a good night. And yeah, let's do a I got to get this last part. Okay, now we're going to go back and we're going to do all that again. I'm really focused a lot on this excerpt with not trying to play overtly loudly, just trying to tongue a lot, get a lot of energy in the sound. I think this excerpt is one, especially in audition, that it's easy to get a little carried away with and make sounds that are just louder than needed, right? And so we can create that energy, we can create that excitement without blowing our brains out. And then I guess in a concert when there's a whole orchestra around us, if we get a little excited, maybe in that case, maybe people won't notice as much. But I think in an audition, there's a way to do it with excitement and articulation that's not the same thing as just playing as loudly as you can. Here we go. The Chris, I am not intentionally playing Brahms, or I'm intentionally not playing it on a rotary. I just don't own a rotary, and I don't have access to one right now, so I still want to get in some good work, so I'm just doing the best I can. I will have access to a rotary, but not for a little bit longer. I have to borrow it from somebody who needs it for another month or so. Do the best you can. Gosh, I have a beautiful memory of playing this lick in grad school. I put together, when I was doing the finals for Indianapolis, I put together a brass section to play through some of the bigger stuff. So it was all students, except for I just somehow put it on the right day that also Chris Martin could come. And so he played second to me. And when we did Heldenleben, I played the first B-flat part, and he played the first E-flat part. And I remember very vividly this lick 5 after 78. I remember vividly what he sounded like. And it's just, I just got happy, you know? I got really happy. It was so brilliant and exciting, and I thought to myself, that's what I hope I can make. Hopefully, when I play the trumpet, people go, I'm just happy, because, yeah, it was so wonderful, and that's what I think about every single time I play this excerpt, so let's hope I can do his version of it justice. Yeah, I remember it just was so sung. You know, like he just didn't care if it said, I mean, it says 1F, but he was like, I kind of don't care about that. I'm just going to make it sound really good and then really beautiful, and then no one's going to say anything about it being too loud or not. One more time. Okay. We have Parsifal now. Isn't that neat? At 60% tempo. On the first time, sorry. So we have Parsifal one time, or at 2 times at 60%. I'm gonna do my best here. 68 times 0.6, 41. I just need to figure out how this tempo works, because Parsifal always freaks me out. Okay, so that's the 8th note. I would like to say the hardest part about Parsifal for me is the endurance aspect, but honestly, it's not. The hardest part of Parsifal for me is creating this atmosphere of, you know, not using vibrato or not using much vibrato and letting the line trying to... Yeah, it is, Jesse. It is chop murder. But I've done it at 50%, so ideally speaking, this will be that much better. But the hardest part at this is just maintaining control, right? So that's the thing, is we don't do it at 60%, or we don't play this excerpt at 50% because we know this is going to be hard, and it's hard enough already. And so I'm trying to play it really, really slow, but maintain my ability to play it with total. I want to like basically make it so much harder now that when I get to the audition, it's like adversity training where it's not going to be any problem for me. So, ideally speaking, now I know that's not necessarily how it'll work, but if I can build confidence now, we'll see how it goes. Here's the first time through. A little bit of rest. I will say, when I played that at 50%, it felt pretty horrible. But when I played it there, it did not feel as bad. I don't even know whatever my goal tempo is. I have it written down. Let me see. I have my goal tempo written down at 68. So we'll see if that's, when we get there, if that's right. But it feels okay other than the breaths, which is it's an okay problem to have for me. If the biggest problem is where do I breathe, I feel like I'm doing okay. Not bad. That felt okay. I'm going to do that one time because I don't want to play a bad repetition after that and ingrain in my head that I got lucky. I want to believe that I can do that. And I think there's, when preparing for a recital or when preparing for an audition or some sort of performance situation, your mental state is, it's just as important, right? It's just as important. Sorry. Thank you, Bob. That's very sweet. That's very, very sweet that you said that. It's just as important. And so I want to build myself up. I want to build up my confidence that I can do this. And if in week 3 of 10, I think to myself, this will be no problem, then I have 7 weeks of building confidence, which after that long, walking into the audition, I'll just think, I can do this. No problem. So, I'm trying to address the mental side of things as well. So even though I'm programmed to do 2 of them, that went well. And so I'm just going to do 1 because it kind of hurts and I got to get through the Tomasi. Also, I forgot to do this excerpt earlier, so I'm going to do a quick Schumann 2. If it feels really good, I'll do it a second time. This is at 43. I should do this 2 times. Schumann 2 is an excerpt that's notorious for me that I just play too soft in the audition. And it ends up sounding soft and nice, but it doesn't have this sort of beautiful color to it. It just sounds like I'm playing soft. So I'm going to really try to just sort of play into the sound, kind of like what I was doing on the beginning of Parsifal, and just sort of trust that it's not too loud. So here we go. First time. Jared, I appreciate you taking the time to let me know that you are sort of watching. That means the world to me. Yes, Jay, playing it slow is definitely the point. Yo, what up, Renee? How you doing, man? That's the point. I'm hoping when it gets faster, there's an actual flow. I can just play a musical line, and all of the little things, all the details will be there. All right, man. I don't know. I don't know. You come into my house and you tell me you don't have to yell. Anyway, in my house, we just use words. We just talk to each other. You don't have to yell. Okay? That's it. Here we go. Last time through. All right, and that is the end of the work on. That's the end of the work on the list. Now I know that's not, and it may not seem like a lot, but again, remember that I've done all of this work. This is basically, lists throughout the whole entire week that I've practiced. And it all takes about 30 to 35 minutes, depending on the tempo, depending on the excerpts that I choose. And ultimately, this list is so huge that I can't afford... I don't have the time, I don't have the face, and I can't really afford to second guess things and play them over and over and over again and all that kind of stuff. Now, I recognize I play the trumpet well enough that I don't necessarily have to worry as much as I used to about, can I slur, can I double tongue, can I play high, can I play low. Those things I've worked out over the course of a couple of years, a lot of years, 10 plus years. And so those don't plague me as much, so I'm not battling against those things. That being said, like I said, I still don't have the time to play all day, so this is my attempt, playing these slowly, 1 time, 2 times per week, trying to get to a point where I can, play them perfectly. That's basically it. I'm trying this idea of, I'm not going to play it that many times, but I'm going to play it perfectly every single time. And hopefully that'll be enough. So... 144 is my tempo for the Tomasi. So we need to find 144 times 0.6, 86. And we're just going to play through the Tomasi together. This edition looks exactly like the one I've played off of. So if I play wrong notes, it's probably my fault because I may have learned it wrong years and years and years and years ago. So here we go. We're going to finish up with 1 run of the Tomasi Trumpet Concerto. I won't play it like that for real, but for right now, I'm just playing it in time just to get the reps in. We'll take a little breaky poo because my face is tired. But things are going pretty well. A couple misses here and there, but in the grand scheme of a performance, really wouldn't be that big of a deal. Not worried about it at all. Just trying for good quality reps. I understand what those licks are. Just kind of tired because I played Parsifal like half tempo and stuff. So it's okay if things don't go well in your practice session. It's okay to not worry about it, basically. Just to play and be like, some of that stuff went wrong, but you know what? I understand how I'm going to do that differently. I don't have to worry about that too much. I think that's, at least for me, that's an okay thing to do. If you're working on fundamentals and stuff like that, maybe you dig a little bit deeper. But on things like concertos, you have to remember every time you do a repetition of something, you're ingraining something. And so if you're shot, if you understand it but you're shot, so you're playing poorly, you're ingraining bad repetitions, whether you realize it or not. Now, if you don't understand the piece, there's things we can do besides just bashing our faces in, like singing it, listening to recordings, maybe buzzing it, maybe playing one or two measures at a time here and there so that you can have a fresh face. But for me, I know this piece. I've lived with this piece for years and years and years, so I don't have to worry so much. I can sort of judge that based on the fact that I learned this when I was like 21 or something like that. So I'm taking that into account. I would not necessarily recommend just making mistakes after mistakes, but you can kind of judge that based off of like what you're feeling on how well you know a specific piece. Because ultimately, the reason we practice is to gain a deeper understanding of something. So if you have that deep understanding and you know you have that deeper understanding, it's okay to let some things slide because you're tired and you don't want to ingrain bad reps. I think that's perfectly acceptable. All right, and just for funsies, I'm just gonna play the cadenza. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I might play some of it a little slower than I normally would, but let's just have some fun. The end of it got a little bit away from me there. Sorry about that. I don't know what that means. I think escucha means listen, and maestro means conductor. That's the best I got for that. I hope everybody enjoyed. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. I'm gonna leave a link. I've been leaving links everywhere, so everybody's seen it. But I'm gonna leave a link on this, the archive of this, so that if you want to watch this more often, maybe you have questions but you didn't ask them this time or whatever. I'm on Twitch 5 times a week doing this, so I'm committed to showing the entirety of the process. I have a YouTube channel that I'm archiving. I'll leave a link for that as well. So This is very, very fun for me. It sort of makes me really think about my practice when you're practicing for other people. It's a weird thing to do. But like I said, I just think about it with a little bit more care, I suppose, about am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the smartest thing? As far as I'm concerned on the excerpts, things are going well. I'm happy with how things are going. I think I'm just tracking right where I should be tracking. One day this week felt pretty horrible. I did upload that day to YouTube. I think that video is titled, bad days are bound to happen. So you can kind of go here when things don't feel good. I'm still battling through. I'm still trying to make it work. I'm not just saying, "Oh, this is not good. I can't do it." I'm using that as a way to think to myself, "All right, this might happen in an audition, or this might happen in a concert. How am I going to deal with it? How am I going to make it work?" Because ultimately, it feeling bad is not an excuse, and we have to just sort of find ways to say, "Okay, what can I learn from this situation?" So I think those practice sessions are just as valuable. Almost, if not more, because then you have the confidence of knowing when things are not feeling great, I can still make it happen. I can still make it work. So I hope everybody enjoyed this. I'm going to get out of here and go make myself another drink. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you have a good night. And I'll be on Twitch. I'll make announcements of it. But the best thing you can do, go to twitch.tv. Just make an account. Even if you don't watch all the time, make an account. Find my page and just give me a follow. It would help me out a lot if you could do that, and then you could turn on notifications and you'll never miss when I go live at all, ever. So like I said, that would help me out a lot if you wouldn't mind doing that. I'll leave all the info in the description for this particular video. So hope everybody has a good night. We will see you 1 week from today playing 65%. Take care. We'll see you later.